Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We are still working on the Winter's Tale. We haven't even made it out of Act 1, Scene 2 yet, but we do get to hear from somebody different today. We get to hear from Camillo instead of Leontes. Now, Camillo is just another Sicilian nobleman who Leontes normally keeps Camillo like in his circle of influence, talks to him as a counselor, trusts his advice, that sort of a thing. So Leontes, as you remember, is sort of spiraling downwards because Polixenes has agreed to stay in Sicilia longer because Hermione asked him to. So now Leontes thinks that the two of them are having an affair. And Leontes said, I'm going to take a walk with my son. Why don't you two go for a walk? Which they did, which he took as yet another sign that the two of them must be having an affair and have cuckolded him. And yesterday he's turning more and more into the green-eyed monster, and he's also doubting whether or not his existing son, Mamillius, is his or is perhaps Polixenes, which would mean the affair has been going on a really long time. But as he's walking with Mamillius, Camillo comes up, so he sort of shoos Mamillius away and says, I'm going to talk to Camillo. And he's like, so Camillo, what have you heard? And Camillo's like, well, I heard that Polixenes is going to stay longer. And he's like, and why? Why do you think Polixenes is staying longer? He's like, well, I heard it's because the queen asked him to stay, so he obliged. And Leontes is like, yeah, okay. So everybody now knows that Polixenes is staying because my wife asked him to. So that makes me an idiot. And if that's all that you have to say, if that's all that people are saying, you're an idiot and I can't trust you anymore and you're not being honest and you're lying to me and you're hiding things. And it's like he starts going off on Camillo, thinking that Camillo is holding back on potential rumors that are going around that Leontes has been cuckolded. And Camillo, in his own defense, says, my gracious lord, I may be negligent, foolish, and fearful. In every one of these, no man is free, but that his negligence, his folly, fear, among the infinite doings of the world, sometime puts forth in your affairs, my lord. If ever I were willful negligent, it was my folly. If industriously I played the fool, it was my negligence, not weighing well the end. If ever fearful to do a thing where I the issue doubted, whereof the execution did cry out against the non-performance, 'twas a fear which oft infects the wisest. These, my lord, are such allowed infirmities that honesty is never free of. But beseech your grace, be plainer with me. Let me know my trespass by its own visage. If I then deny it, 'tis none of mine. So he's standing up for himself here. Leontes called him negligent and foolish and fearful, and he's like, everybody is occasionally negligent and foolish and fearful, though not necessarily willfully. He's like, if I ever didn't do a thing, it's because not doing it seemed the better option, or I was never intentionally negligent towards you. I might have accidentally done that, but these are all things that fall within the realm of human error, and me being human, I'm allowed to make those mistakes. So if you're going to sit here and tell me that I've made all of those mistakes and I've been dishonest with you and all that sort of stuff, you need to tell me exactly how and when I was these things so that I can dispute the charges. Basically, he's talking almost as if he's on trial, which Leontes is very much attacking him at this point, by doubting his honesty and doubting his counsel and all of that sort of a thing. So it's, yay for Camillo for standing up for himself. But of course, this isn't good enough for Leontes, and he has a response that is tomorrow's monologue. So I will see you then for that.